The Midnight Club is five college students who meet. They meet in college in the 80s, and one of them does not make it to graduation. She drowns about a month before graduation. And so all of them carry that with them into their future lives, the grief over her death. And 25 years later, they meet up again for a reunion in their college town, hosted by one of them. And what they don't realize is the one who's hosting believes that their friend might not have died from, that she might have been murdered, or there might have been some foul play in her death. And she wants them to use a memory drug to find out what really happened. And that's where the speculative element of this comes in, because of course there's no such thing as a memory drug, but I made one up. It's called SOG, and it's not something that big pharma puts out or anything like that. It's really a homebrew, a sort of folk thing. I mean, only people in this one area even know about it. It's made from pine pitch, and it will, if you're older, like middle-aged, it will show you your past. If you're younger, supposedly, it will show you glimpses of your future or a possible future that you could have. So people refer to it as the time travel drug. We have Sonia, one of my point of view characters, who feels like she's kind of wasted her life. She's just been laid off from her job. She's single. She doesn't really have a whole lot in her life. So she's searching for something. Then we have Byron, who is like a tech guy who has made a lot of money, but he feels like he missed out on spending time with his kids. And now his wife is divorcing him, and he's totally at loose ends. So and then we have two other characters who are sort of supporting characters. Orally, who's the host, very forceful personality, who's always trying to manipulate everyone else to do what she wants. And Paul, who's sort of like the laid back, always calm and composed one. I was really fascinated by the idea of seeing things through this drug. And the thing is, you see memories, but you can't be sure that you're going to get the memory you want. You can try to target a memory by like thinking about a certain point in your life before you take this drug, but it's kind of a roll of the dice, what you'll actually see. And what you see is a memory in absolutely vivid detail, which is not, our real memories are not like that ever. So it's like, it's cinematic, only with all the senses, which for me is like a fantasy. I would love to be able to access that kind of memory, but I'm not sure it's even theoretically possible. I always try to make dialogue as naturalistic as possible. Like, as much like what people would actually say. I think I try to channel the inner screenwriter. If I were writing this as a movie, what would they be saying? So that they're not like doing a whole ton of info dumping and stuff like that. But I think for the parts that were in the 80s, like I don't feel that people's speech has changed that much since the 80s, aside from a few slang things. But one thing I did was have them sometimes quote song lyrics and stuff like that, or refer to song lyrics, because quoting song lyrics, then you have to pay for them. But like my friends and I, back then in the 80s, we were so into certain bands like the Talking Heads that they were just part of our thinking.